This is the Kaiju Podcast. I'm Ralph.
I'm Jorge.
And today we're talking about Rampage.
Yeah, 2018?
Brand new.
Brand new.
Yeah, this is like the closest we've recorded and then put out an episode.
Right, we both saw it last night in our separate cities.
We saw it Thursday night, and this is coming out Monday.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I figured this might give us an opportunity to talk about stuff going on right now. I saw the trailer for Meg. Before Rampage.
Yeah, good. I was going to say, before we get into this, we need to talk about Meg for a second.
I put it out there on Twitter, whether it's a kaiju movie or not, and
it's not a kaiju movie.
Yeah, I think it just is.
It's a big shark.
Yeah. People were saying that it wasn't rampaging, like it's not, but I mean,
how do we know?
Yeah.
That shot at the end of the trailer where it's like the boat and it's just mouth.
Yeah. And then there's a giant squid.
Yeah, and there's also like the one with it's like a whole beach full of people, like a bunch of people in the water, and it's like, yeah. That looks pretty sick. I mean that whatever that underwater, it's like an underwater space station.
Sea Lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so great and just it's.
I mean, I figure it comes out I think August. So
yeah,
I'm probably
he's so big. I don't know how can you. He's so big.
I figure I'm gonna end up watching it. I showed Stevie because we saw like on YouTube on our Apple TV. We just saw a picture of Jason Statham and it said the Meg, and we're just like, what is that? And we didn't even look at it. And then the next day I saw the poster. I'm like, oh wait, hold on, it's a giant shark. So I watched it and I'm like, oh, let me send this to Stevie. And she was like, oh yeah, I wasn't expecting that. So
yeah, you sent it to me. And it's like, I don't know what this is, never heard of it. So then watching it, just kind of knowing it exists, because I didn't know any of this was happening.
Yeah, I didn't know about it either. And I know you don't like to watch trailers, but I was just like, this thing surprised me. Might as well. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
We're probably going to see it, and we'll probably record about it. Why not?
Sure, I don't see why not.
And then the other thing, have you seen Ready Player One?
No.
Have you heard anything about Ready Player One?
You told me King Kong was in it.
Yeah, he is. He's actually the major thing in the beginning of the movie. Do you have any interest in seeing it? Or are you?
Yeah, I'm going to see it.
Okay, cool. All right.
So keep it to yourself.
Yeah,
what?
There's stuff that happens in the book. That's one of the few things that comes over to the movie. And
didn't know a lot of things from the book come to the movie.
Apparently, they're very different.
Oh,
but Stevie knew about this thing that was going to happen, and it's an all right movie. It was okay, but yeah, you should check it out.
All right.
Yeah, there's all the pop culture references and stuff like that, and there's just stuff everywhere. You can't see it all. But,
yeah, we're planning to see it. We just haven't done it yet. We've been seeing other things.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think that's all I have before we get into Rampage.
Okay, let's talk about it. First off, what were your expectations?
My expectations were a little bit higher than Pacific Rim 2.
Yeah.
I was excited about it, and I grew up with the video game.
Right.
Anytime there's an arcade nearby. Anytime I go in, I always play Rampage.
Yeah.
I always play as Ralph, just because.
Yeah, because he's your favorite.
But it's one of those things where I'm just like, I love this game.
Right.
And I'm excited to see the movie, and I like The Rock. I haven't seen San Andreas, so I had no expectations like quality wise.
But
I was excited about it.
But just general excitement, or were there specific things that you were like...
The only thing I really wanted to see was like a gorilla sliding down the side of the building, just punching a bunch of windows and eating people. But I don't...
Right. Yeah, I want them hanging off of buildings and punching the buildings. I want them punching tanks, and I want them eating people.
Yeah.
And then as the movie was going on, and I was then thinking about other things, thinking of the game while I'm watching the movie, I started being like, oh, I want them to do this now. I don't want them to do this. Like, there's some stuff that I go, oh yeah, I forgot about that part of the game. And there's other parts where I was like going, oh, I want them to do this. And I was like, oh, there's no chance they're going to do this.
And I'm like, like naked guys, like when they get killed, they turn into little naked guys and walk off screen.
Yeah. Well, they're not killed yet.
Yeah.
They're not killed till they get eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And did it satisfy?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I have definite issues with one aspect of the film.
All right.
And I very much like the other aspect of the film.
Okay.
Right off the bat, the relationship between George and Davis.
Yes.
Loved it.
I loved it. This was the most empathetic gorilla I've ever seen in movies. The way he was like when he was hurt, you really felt for him. He was, and also his whole when he scared the guy and and The Rock's telling him, says, no, he's crying. And he kind of felt bad about doing it.
Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah. And we were talking about this on our last episode, which was last week, our King Kong episode, where nobody had sympathy for Kong at all. And this movie was like the opposite. There's everybody, well, The Rock, but the backstory of George and stuff was very emotional. I liked it a lot. I liked all of that stuff. The Malin Ackerman stuff, I did not like at all. Her and that dude.
Long speech of their master evil plan went forever, and it's like, oh god, we get it. Let's get back to
because the movie starts off right away like, here's the setup. They're doing genetic stuff in space, and the capsules fall down. And we're gonna get our monsters, and it starts right away. Like, it's like boom, boom, boom. Here we go. I don't need any more explanation. Let's just start.
Me either.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have had a sight unseen villain for a lot of it, where it could have even just been like, you could have done like a back of the chair thing, and something gets pushed, and then the antenna pops up, and then we see the monsters do something and start running in another direction. We kind of get it, that something's going on, and on top of that, it gets explained from the other side too. Yeah, they're like, oh, there must be some tracking thing or something, whatever.
The opening scene, they're in the space lab, and there's a giant rat.
Yeah,
and I wasn't expecting that.
Kind of porcupine-y looking rat.
Yeah. I was kind of like, did you sit through the credits?
The closing credits?
Yeah, the closing credits.
I sat, not the whole, I left about halfway through it.
Because I was waiting for a scene with that rat. The one that they're walking
credits?
around. Yeah, I was waiting for a bonus scene, because the way the way they were walking around with the caged rat.
Oh, the thing that's in the case.
Yeah.
I thought, oh yeah, okay.
They made such a big deal about it. I was like, okay,
well,
I can't wait to see that scene.
Every time I go to the movies, right when the credits starts, I open up the aftercredits.com.
Oh.
And it'll tell you if there's stingers or non-stingers. The problem is, most movies have no stingers, but because of the freaking Marvel movies, now every time there's a movie, you're like, oh, no, wait, hang on, I gotta find out. So I look up everything now. Yeah. I'm like, hold on, look up Isle of Dogs. All right, no stingers.
But
and so I I actually saw Isle of Dogs the same day. So then when I went to go look up Isle of Dogs, it already showed me that there were no stingers in Rampage.
But even before like the Marvel Universe, Godzilla movies and stuff have had the post credit sequences.
Totally.
So this was like built in for that, and they protected this rat the whole movie. I was like, okay, we'll just see that. We'll get to see the rat. Like it'll just be a slow-mo shot of the rat in the cage as it zooms in, and it'll have crazy eyes or something. But I don't know. Maybe they're just like, maybe we won't make another one of these. But I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely ended. It definitely was like they weren't going like we're going to start a trilogy or anything like that.
Yeah,
it was definitely the fact that. Just that it's self-contained. I liked.
Yeah.
That it went that way.
Yeah. Another thing that I had questions about was Pavo. I thought Pavo was going to come back. The other ape in the enclosure, the one that was that hated poachers.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea.
Like I thought maybe George was going to end up being bad, and then Pavo would help him out or something. It was a weird kind of for me the movie on the whole kind of was just kind of middle of the road. It was to me. There's something weird about this movie, and I can't put my finger on it. I was thinking about it, and there's just not. It's just The Rock. Running around, and there's not a whole lot of interactions with like other characters and people. Like his team at the beginning, I assumed they were going to be in the movie more,
right?
Like his vegan buddy and the two people who are learning. I thought they're going to be like more of a team, but it's mostly just The Rock running around, and then cut to the army base.
Yeah.
There's not I don't know, it's hard to put my finger on, but it just didn't feel big in scope. I don't know.
All right, that's funny. For me, the popcorn aspect of the movie is what made it satisfying for me.
Yeah.
Which is funny because when you take into account like our, Pacific Rim uprising thing, where the attitude seems to be flipped, where like you liked it for its lightness and its fluff quality, and I was looking for more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are no rules, people.
No, but I saw it by myself. And yes. I know I was going to go with Stevie, but I wanted to make sure we get our recording in. And, I would go see it again. I think I need to see it again. And I probably will. I'm not looking forward to the bad guy stuff.
Yeah.
Huge question mark. I have a huge question mark. So she calls this Operation Rampage.
Right.
Which is fine. Okay, perfect. I feel like maybe the military should have called it that. Because that's what was going on.
Now, did you notice the Rampage video game? Because they're really heavy-handed with it. I mean, it's like it wasn't an Easter egg; it was an entire Easter basket. They're like, "Hey, look look behind the guy. It's right there behind the guy. Oh, it's behind her too."
Yeah, I figured that was for people our age, pointing it out to the kids to explain where this movie came from.
There's a little, right. Yeah. There's a little bit of it that I go, we get it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Joe Manganiello being the guy who's hunting the wolf. And I was like, okay, I get it. The wolf guy from True Blood is chasing the wolf guy in Rampage.
Oh, I haven't seen that show.
He was a wolf in.
Okay.
Blood.
The machine. So the machine is blatantly there. So she is a fan of it, and then
coincidentally, it landed on a reptile, a wolf, and a gorilla.
Yeah, that's what was weird. That was really weird. Let's talk about Ralph.
Okay.
Ralph's kind of the first monster we see as a monster. Like, we see George become bigger, and it's sad. I felt really bad for George. Because when he started, like, when he's like, I'm hungry, and it's like, God, just feed him already. And then he, gets mad and stuff.
Yeah.
But we have sympathy. Ralph, on the other hand, has, like, that whole scene I liked. I really liked the Joe Manganiello stuff with Ralph. I
like when they put there's some great stories which are like the military's dealing with things that I think, like, did you ever see Dog Soldiers?
No.
Dog Soldiers is this werewolf movie, and it's about these military guys. I think it's an Australian movie. These military guys that they're kind of like doing their exercises, practice stuff, and they come across werewolves. And one of the werewolves are cool because they're like people on stilts, so they have like long, sleek legs.
Yeah.
But they walk upright, but they have the super long wolf legs. Uh-huh. And so then they get holed up in this house, and it's just kind of like the way that military mentality then deals with it in their communication and in the giving and following orders and all that kind of business. That discipline in the supernatural setting, I think, is always kind of cool.
Yeah, seeing the trailer, knowing that Ralph flies, like seeing that in the trees, I thought it looked really cool. Where she's like streaking across, and he's just kind of like freaking out. That I like that. I like that also because it was set up. It was shot more like a horror movie, and it felt more like a horror movie, which made Ralph more interesting. Like, you're like, okay, this is just a bad guy. When they come
upon the bodies that are been like ripped in half and stuff, I was like, that was pretty shocking. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, and you can tell they cut it as much as they were allowed to by like the ratings board.
Yeah, this is PG-13.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really pushed the limit on PG-13.
Yeah. Which I feel like the stuff with the bad guys felt more cartoony and PG, and the Rock stuff felt more serious. They just felt out of place. They felt disjointed.
Like tonally different?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like and her brother is just eating the whole time.
I didn't even notice.
Like, he's always got either a sandwich or like a breakfast burrito. He's always got something in his hand. And when they come back to those scenes in that fancy office, he's got some kind of food in his hand. He's working on.
And they had nondescript spaceship models. Also, I noticed those.
This stuff that they used to decorate.
Almost a Star Destroyer and almost a Millennium Falcon. But they may have been models for that, like, because he was bashing the satellite model with a bat,
right?
So it could have been prototypes. But there's my favorite part of the Ralph sequence is when Ralph jumps off the cliff and grabs onto the helicopter, and the helicopter starts. It looks like he lifts his head into the helicopter blades and knocks the blades off.
Yeah. He does knock the blades off with his body in some way. Yeah. And also, what about he kind of like, he flicks his tail out and the porcupine spikes extend, and then he can whip him at the helicopter too.
Yeah. I wanted more of that stuff. I wanted more of the porcupine stuff, because there's really only a couple of shots where he uses those.
Yeah.
And, I mean, those weren't in the video game, because mostly the video game, they just punch.
Yeah, in the video game, they're all basically, for the most part, versions of King Kong, just with different heads.
Yeah. But I like that that is set up like this is just an evil wolf. Like, there's no sympathy for it.
Well, he's just an animal, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I think I would have loved to have seen the flying thing, not have known that was coming.
Yeah.
Like, almost in the woods, you could have like seen it being like that. was quite a jump, but you didn't, because like it didn't look like it fully spread until he did that like jump and turn thing that he did in the city.
Yeah. And then we get Lizzie, who they don't mention Lizzie by name.
No.
But I like that set up more as a mystery. Like, we see it go into the swamp and under the water.
I like that they held back
yeah.
on him. I thought that was cool. And when he emerged and he was basically bigger than the two of the other ones combined.
Yeah.
Because he was huge. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I think the canister lands in the water, and I think it eats it whole.
Right.
So it didn't just get kind of sprayed in the face. It
so he gets more of the stuff. Oh, that's
so.
Brilliant. That's actually a good idea. That's actually great. I'm a little sad that he didn't get upright like Godzilla style.
I kind of wanted all of them to.
But he's pretty, he's pretty good, like basically an angleless version guy. The big warthog tusks basically coming out the side of his mouth was cool looking.
I like the gills, the sort of like...
Yeah, he fanned out like the spitter dinosaur in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And he also liked the way his tail kind of came out, almost like an ankylosaurus, because it kind of got thick at the end.
Mm-hmm.
He was a pretty great monster.
Yeah.
He had a great moment when he's climbing up the buildings, and then he kind of just pushes his head and goes through to the other side.
Yeah,
that was so cool.
You know, I'm a fan of that. That's like one of my few notes.
It's such great building destruction.
Yeah,
which is great. Which is what you want in the Rampage movie. I was like, I mean, buildings just get really trashed. And then I was like, when they're in the helicopter, and he's like, I just need to get enough lift so we can ride this building as it comes crashing down. I went, oh yeah, they come crashing down.
Yeah,
so I kind of forgot that aspect of the game. Like, you got to go until all the buildings get collapsed.
Yeah, and then the thing is, it was done in Chicago, and I've been up in Sears Tower. I think it's called Willis Tower now. And every time I've been up there, it freaks me out. So I was as soon as they started going to the roof of that building, I started getting antsy. Like, it felt like it's rare that I watch a movie like this where it's in a city that I've been to, let alone a building I've been in. And it really started getting me antsy, and I was like, oh man, I wonder if I should have saw this in IMAX 3D. So maybe if I go with Stevie, I'll go see IMAX 3D.
Did you see it in 3D?
I saw it in regular just 2D.
2D.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that stuff on top of Sears Tower kind of was freaking me out. I was like, oh my gosh, these people are gonna fall off. These monsters, they were up there with all three monsters.
I think.
Like, it was getting crowded up there.
I don't think Lizzie was at the top yet.
Yeah.
But definitely the wolf and George were there.
Yeah, when George was punching the tower, that felt like the video game. Because he was kind of sliding on the tower, just keep on punching that tower. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, that's what I need.
I liked the slow motion Lizzie chomping on the plane on the jet.
Oh, where it's like
you're just looking at the pilot in the little thing, and he chomps on it. But then he kind of like flings it, and I was like, no, he didn't eat it. When are they gonna eat somebody? Part of this is someone's got to get eaten, and then when you finally get the eating, it was awesome.
Because I was looking at the antidotes. And I'm like, how does this antidote work? Is it a shot? Or is it going to be able to penetrate their skin? And the way they had her holding the antidotes in her purse or whatever, and then swallowing her was awesome. And it just meant, okay, they're done with.
It was pretty crazy when the croc bit off the wolf's head.
Yeah, I did not.
I did not see that coming at all.
I liked Lizzie's entrance into the movie, where there's like just a barge or a boat, like a party boat, like just full of people.
Yeah,
and it just comes up under and just tosses it upside down, and all the little people fly off.
Just like the big wave of water coming through the river. It kind of was like Shin when Godzilla's showing up.
Yeah. I think Chicago was a great setting. And it was cool that it took place during the day so you can actually see the destruction. It's not all hidden. And I was confused because they were in a helicopter, The Rock and I can't remember her name. She's Moneypenny from the James Bond movies. Naomi Harris.
Dr. Kate Caldwell.
So they're in the helicopter and they're going towards Sears Tower. And they land the helicopter on the ground and say, we need to go to the 85th floor. I thought it would be easier to land on top and go down.
Mm.
But I guess whatever. There's already a helicopter up there, I suppose.
Yeah, I think the helipad is taken. The other thing is they're just flying the helicopter through all the clusterfuck of all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of it's what's great about it is it gives us a reason for us to have that vantage point.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, we're seeing what they're seeing. Like that shot on the bridge of Ralph and George going along the bridge and just like throwing tanks and stuff.
Yeah.
It was just so cool from that angle.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they've been trying to do, like, the last few monster movies that have been coming out. They try to, like, I think since probably Cloverfield, they're trying to keep the camera in locations where a camera would actually fit.
They did that. Yeah, they've done that in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
They definitely tried to do that in a lot of movies. Be like, oh, this is to kind of essentially add a level of realism that this is the vantage point of the humans in this scenario. So this is what it would feel like.
I think it would be cool if a post credits thing would it be if they just set up like a static shot of a city and the monsters came in and did like a recreation of the video game, but just with the Weta CG characters. And you could it would like mimic the video game where they go
for a moment, like one shot.
Yeah,
that would have been pretty funny. Yeah, when any time that George is hanging out the building and he's just his fists are inside, I was like, oh, that's great. It looks good.
Yeah, my favorite shot was Lizzie going through the building because how much I love.
And
when they just walk through a building.
And he just looks so cool the way he kind of does that kind of side by side kind of thing. Is there anything specific from the game that you did not get that you was like basically as I was watching it and more things that I go, all right, that check as far as like the game has this check, you got this check it. Anything in the game that you remember that you go like, oh, that would have been kind of fun to see.
Well, I mean, it'd have to change the whole story. Is when they get shot, they turn into little tiny people with no clothes.
Oh, right.
That's it. Because it makes the video game look like they're people that mutated into giant monsters.
Right.
But I mean, I don't think that would fly. And for a second there, when they were going to the lab and stuff, I kept thinking, well, what if they give the Rampage juice to The Rock? What if there was a giant rock in this movie? Because
he does he ends up like Abomination or like a Swamp thing.
Yeah, that would have been something.
That would have been funny. The Rock, he's a big giant version of The Rock.
Yeah,
but like mutated, and he's got like porcupine quills.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. For me, it was like, but it's because you can't, because they're not as anthropomorphized as they are in the game. In the game when they would punch each other and they would fly back with their hands on their face.
Yeah,
I would have loved that.
The fight with Lizzie and George and then the Rock
Brutal.
Was fun. It was yeah.
I think the aspect. Like seeing with George being albino also gave us kind of a cool. You saw his bloodiness more and stuff.
And then by the end of the fight, he almost looked like the George from the video game. He was mostly brown with just like dirt and gunk all over him.
Yeah.
When George got impaled on that
Yeah.
on that spear, I was like, oh, he's done.
Yeah, and he's yanking it. He's trying to yank it out and stuff.
See, I would want another movie just for George. I think there was 6 canisters total, and we got 3 monsters.
Right. Well, 3 canisters were pulled from the canister thing. 3, and then she took off. She couldn't get them all out because the hole was breached. Yeah. And so there are 3 that were, I think, destroyed when the space lab blew up.
Okay. But were there more than 3 that entered Earth's atmosphere?
No. They blew up with the lab.
So I'm looking for more. I'm looking for if they make another one of these.
More rat up in space.
Space rat. Still up there, huh? I mean, it blew up, but it takes a lot to kill these things.
Yeah, and they keep healing real fast. Yes, George was funny. All the like jokes stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he learned to do the middle finger. It was great.
Yeah.
There was a moment where I was like, I was like, there's a great sappy opportunity that didn't happen. Was because it's the way it's set up at the beginning, where George is saying, "I saved you," and he's like, "No, you didn't save me." He says, "No, I saved you." Between the Rock and George.
Yeah.
And then at the end, where George goes, "I saved you," and he's like, "Yeah, you saved me." And I wanted George to be like, "You saved me." And I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. Like when he's like, because when he was under the car.
Oh my gosh, that was the worst.
All along, it's the whole thing, you know. We thought we were going to teach him, but he ended up teaching us kind of moment of a movie. Yeah. And it's like, he's like, "Yeah, you saved me." And he goes, "No, you saved me." And it's, or like something like they're even in some way was.
Yeah,
but there's so much personality they gave, like
right away.
There's so much personality in George.
Yeah,
the whole when he's like pretending to be dead at the thing and at the end and stuff. It's so great.
Well, at the end, I'm like, it went on like a while. I'm like, oh, maybe he really is dead, because I thought, oh, he's got it. You know, are they really going to end this movie with this dead ape? I'm like, they can't. He's got to be alive. And I was just waiting for it. And
there's a part where the Rock is looking at his hand. His dead hand. He's looking at his hand. And it was just going like, "That's a really big ashtray."
Shit.
That
whole thing, yeah, because first of all, like right off the bat, I feel for George and Pavo because their families were killed by poachers. But that flashback scene with George under the truck, I'm like, oh my gosh, why?
Blue eyes.
Why am I feeling this about this stupid monster movie? Why is this happening? But yeah, and then at the end, the reveal that he's still alive and does the. I noticed one. I think it was this. Me and Stevie saw like a commercial for this, where one of the things that says rated PG-13 for language, violence, and crude hand gestures.
Yeah.
So like I was waiting for them flipping off of the thing, which I don't think we mentioned in the Pacific Rim Uprising.
Goes, oh.
But then there's the.
Oh right.
But then there's the other one in this one at the end.
Yeah.
When he's messing around and they're together and he does the the sex finger thing. Pantomime.
Yeah, the sex finger pantomime.
Which I laughed. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. That he's crude.
Yeah.
Is very funny. Well, we already love him, but yeah. So it's like he's kind of like a child, and it's like these are the things that make him laugh.
Is this like the only like kaiju monster with a sense of humor? I can't think of any other. I don't even know who would.
I can't think of any other.
So yeah, there's so much personality. It's like, oh, I just want to see more George movies.
Yeah,
I mean, Mighty Joe Young has personality.
It was great. Like all the and the other gorillas, they were all CGI too. They were all like motion capture guys.
Yeah,
and yeah, the other gorilla was great too, Pavo.
Yeah, Pavo.
Like so much. Like they put a lot of personality. You had a lot of empathy for him too.
Yeah, it's those guys at Weta. Weta does good work. Yeah, I felt super.
It told me like, oh, so I was like, oh, we don't need to use real animals ever again.
Yeah.
It's so good. And
yeah, and then you see at the end of the movie, it says like the American Humane Society. I'm like, oh, well, maybe for that rat, maybe the rat was real.
The rat in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was.
And then I was like, oh, and then the dog. A lot of people gasped.
Yeah, the dog moment with
Ralph.
Wolf. Yeah.
I'm like, nah, this one's PG-13. That dog isn't gonna get eaten.
Did you notice there's a part at the end when we're pulling back and there's like a guy in the building where George is, and it's like that part of the wall and windows are blown out, and George puts his hand up and the guy just jumps into his hand.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Would you really do that? I don't buy it.
I don't know. The place, yeah.
He's still a ginormous ape.
I think us being us, maybe.
You could, yeah. Well, okay, yeah, but you don't like. It's not like this guy was watching this whole time. I don't know. Yeah, I was like, here. I was like, I'll take the stairs.
Yeah, but I did notice that. I did like that. It made it seem like George was going to help.
Yeah, exactly.
Help any people out.
He's going to like push the buildings back up.
Yeah. What'd you think of? I don't know. I'm not going to get his name right. Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I liked him.
I liked him a lot too.
He's got a great swagger.
Yeah.
That he's just always appealing.
Yeah. I like that he was an a-hole. I like that he came around like pretty much as soon as The Rock saved him in midair. Like he woke up and he's like, "What is going on?" And
right. Oh, that was great. Waking up and thinking. You know what I thought was unnecessary was when they're in the parachute, and so like they're shooting The Rock with like a GoPro.
Yeah.
And
it looked weird.
He has like an acting moment. And I was like, yeah, we didn't need that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We didn't need it in real time with the GoPro. We could have faked that and gotten a better camera for it.
Yeah. That plane sequence was cool too. Like being trapped inside a plane with a giant, like hulking out gorilla.
Yeah.
I liked it. But once again, I felt bad for George the whole time, so it was kind of a bummer.
It reminded me of something we'll be discussing later. Frankenstein Conquers the World.
Uh-huh.
Where it's like, he's getting too big for his cages.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's coming up.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I kind of want to watch that movie again. Yeah, I enjoyed watching the movie. I had a real issue with the bad guys. What are the Waylands? I don't remember what they're called. But the Malin Ackerman character and storyline is I don't know, didn't really need it. And I think since watching it, I kind of convinced myself that I wasn't okay with it. But the more I think about like the good stuff, I actually kind of want to go see it again.
There's a good chance that if I was like watching it in like a home version, I might fast forward certain parts.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, let's get back to the meat.
But yeah, I don't have anything more else to say about it. It's crazy that, Pacific Rim came out like 3 weeks ago or something like that. Mm-hmm. And there's already this movie. It's crazy.
And the trailer for the Meg, yeah.
Yeah. And who knows what else is coming out. If the Meg kind of showed up out of nowhere, I'm interested to see what else is on the horizon. I know Godzilla King of the Monsters is going to be, I think, in this next summer? Probably sooner than that. I don't know. But that'll be cool, and then we'll get King Kong versus Godzilla. No, the other way around. Godzilla versus King Kong.
Oh, I was kind of like fantasizing of an idea of like, imagine like Rampage, 60s Toho style, You get the King Kong, you get Godzilla, both from King Kong vs. Godzilla outfits, and just add a wolf outfit.
Yeah, there's not really a lot of hairy kaiju.
No.
I think King Kong
wasn't there like that fan... There was some kind of like fan-made Godzilla movie that had like a giant...
White wolf?
Like, yeah, it was like an abominable snowman.
I always thought that was something that was supposed to happen, but didn't. Like, I think that was like a real
but I don't think
production.
it was ever official. I thought it was like a fan. It was almost like a fanfic thing of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like King Caesar has some
like
hair, but there's really not a lot of wolves or hairy creatures. But yeah,
Yeah, the dead bear thing surprised me too. I was like,
that's another thing. That's another like character thing where he was talking to George, and George was like kind of hitting in the cave. Like, he's like, I didn't mean to do it. I'm sorry. I'm hurt.
I was scared.
Yeah. And it's like, oh man, this is like all that stuff was so good. And then the other stuff wasn't. The
human stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, when he gives his speech about saving George, and I was like, okay. But then when she comes back to him being like, but George learned to trust. And I was like, and that was like, all right. Or like that she lied. That he was really hurt that she lied to get what she wanted. But I was like, how big of a lie was that? I don't know. You know who I also liked was the Colonel Blake.
Yeah,
the guy who was running the whole military thing. I thought he was great.
Yeah, that moment when he sees George on the monitor and calls off the strike.
Yeah,
it's like his surprise was like, oh, okay, this is I'll see this play out.
Well, I thought it was because he saw The Rock.
Oh, just because the Rock was in there?
I was like, well, I thought the bit was that he was supposed to see civilians there, but he only saw The Rock.
I forget that moment too when George starts pulling the horns out of Lizzie and starts stabbing Lizzie with its own horns.
Yeah, when he like breaks off that
a tusk
I was
or something.
Like, yeah, I was like that because I was like, did I see that right? Did he really?
Yeah,
that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, snapped off his tooth or was it his tusk or it was something that came off of him.
I thought it was one of his back spikes, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. I'm gonna see it again. I mean, it's giant monsters beating stuff up.
Yeah,
like, it's weird that these movies are happening again.
I don't know if I'm gonna see it again in the theater or not. I'll have to see. Yeah. I mean,
Stevie loves The Rock, and so it gives me an excuse to go again. If she had gone with me last night, I probably wouldn't. But like the theater across the street from my house, it's like $5 before noon. You know,
usually I'm going to see movies twice. Yeah, there's a theater real close here that I might go. Usually when I see movies twice is right before we're going to record, and I'm like, because I try to take notes. This was more free form because we both just saw it once, but
and we're good. This is a good size episode too. We're at about 47 minutes right now, so yeah,
it was jam packed with stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
I was surprised to see Carlton Cuse's name in the writing credits.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask about that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I would ask, but it's a guy you know.
Did you see that? Yep. I read it.
There it was. But
also, William Lee, who plays the FBI agent who comes in, who I know because he's done a few episodes of Hawaii Five-0.
Oh, okay.
He plays Sang Min.
I would like more of him than I don't know. There's
I mean, I think it was good.
Yeah. It's weird that it exists, I think. The fact that they made a movie based on that game. Like the premise of that game is makes perfect sense to make into a movie. Like
usually you hear oh, it's a movie based on a video game. You're like, oh boy. But when I heard when I heard this one, I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's an excuse to watch that. Stuff get beat up. So, but yeah. All right. I don't have anything.
What video game do you want to see turn into a movie?
That's a tough one. I'm a huge fan. See, I grew up around the time Rampage. Like, I was that right age for Rampage.
Right.
It's tough to, because my favorite video game in the arcade is Tron, and that's already a movie. Yeah. I could say like man. I mean, it sounds stupid, but I really like Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm a big fan, but I don't know if I'd watch a movie of that. It'd have to be something good, like maybe Pitfall.
Oh,
sure. Like a cool jungle adventure movie, but they're really, I mean, it's just scorpions and crocodiles that you can walk on. But yeah, something. I mean, Rampage would be the movie, I guess.
Well, because like, I was just remembering when we were talking about this games and trying to think of like the games that I liked playing. The other one that just suddenly was like, oh, that might convert interesting was, do you remember the game Altered Beasts?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because that was also like human turning into animal, and like you went from like human to like wolfman to part wolf to even more wolf.
Yeah. To buffer. You went from a dude to a buffer dude into a wolf.
Buffer hairy dude.
But he would shoot like fireballs out of the hands. And then there's the dragon level where you turn into a dragon, and then a bear, and then a wolf, dragon, bear.
I might not have actually ever gone past the wolf level.
That was the first one.
There's that, whatever those things were that were like these like jumping balls with snake heads.
Yeah. And the jumping balls would like latch onto your head.
They jump on your head and then
hit back and forth.
You had to wiggle.
Oh, yeah, they
got me every time. But I didn't have like a home version of it. That was only like straight arcade.
Yeah, it came with the Sega Genesis.
Oh,
which I got back in whatever 91. I'd watch that, but it's weird because it takes place in like ancient Greece. Maybe they could do a modern take on it. Just get The Rock in there.
Throw some explanation dialogue,
and then put an arcade machine in the background.
What's wrong with me? I'm like buffer and hairier.
Power up. All right. Okay, so Rampage is cool.
Yeah.
We're glad it's out.
Yeah.
Head over to kaijupod.com. That'll give you links to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And the big Kaiju monster list thing, which keeps growing. And you can watch pretty much got every movie that's coming up. You should be able to watch
as a
from
link
there. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And then, yeah, that's it. Until next time, I'm going to go beat the satellite model.
I'm just going to give you a pound. No, middle finger. No, a pound. No, middle finger. I loved how he kind of laughed at his own joke.
Yeah.
He was so proud of himself.
Yeah. He no laugh, he cry.
Yeah.
And he says at the end when he does the motion for cry, and The Rock said, "I'm not crying. There's a lot of debris in the air."
Yeah. Yeah. Their relationship was just so great.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do they make? There's no toy line, is there?
Yeah, there is.
There is?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You have to get a George.
Oh man, there's a 16-inch Mega George. It's like the Kong. This looks exactly like the big Kong. Only is George. No kidding. Oh my gosh. Giant 16-inch smashing George. Alright, well, I guess I have some shopping to do.
So there you go. Till next time, go shopping. All right.
All right.